Fast X, everything you need to know.
Part 1.
Even amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Justin Lin's F9 proved incredibly successful at the box office and with fans of the long-running series. Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel, and his found family of crooks, street racers, spies, and all-around badasses went on another mission to save the world and managed to thrill audiences along the way. However, nobody can save the world forever, and the Fast franchise is entering its final quarter mile before our favorite street racing heroes ride off into the sunset. We've known for some time that the Fast and Furious franchise would come to an end with the inevitable release of Fast 11, as Vin Diesel has remained adamant about his desire to give the franchise a proper conclusion. However, the beginning of the two-part end will officially kick off when Fast X debuts. With all of that said, get the family together and dive into some of the key details that we know about the forthcoming 10th entry in the Fast and Furious saga, X, including its release date, cast, and plot.
When will Fast X be released? Almost as soon as F9, the Fast saga, unspooled in theaters in 2021, fans wanted to know what's next. And more importantly and urgently, they wanted to know exactly when the follow-up and 10th installment in that Fast and Furious franchise will arrive at the multiplex. Entertainment Weekly reported in August of 2021 that the still tentatively titled Fast and Furious 10 will start filming in January of 2022. That's according to star Vin Diesel himself, in advance of a release date of April 7, 2023. That time frame is relatively consistent with other installments in the Fast and Furious franchise, as entries in the back half of the series have seen success debuting in the late spring, early summer window, with the COVID-delayed June 2021 release for F9 actually standing out as a later release than usual for the series. A few months later, Universal changed course and pushed back the release of the film, now officially known as Fast X, as many of you know, is a Roman numeral for the number 10. And the film will open not in April of 2023, but on May 19, 2023, according to The Hollywood Reporter.
What is the plot of Fast X? Considering the threads planted in F9, it is worth remembering how much the Fast and Furious franchise loves this continuity. Though the franchise tends to tell a continuous story from film to film, it also tends to dig deep into its chronology to bring back characters and resurrect seemingly retired plot threads. As a result, in knowing that the series has to wrap up its overarching story soon, fans can expect a dense narrative in Fast X. According to the plot summary of the film's official website, Fast X is the beginning of the endgame for the franchise. Toretto and his family, biological and by choice, stare down what's perhaps their most dangerous endeavor yet. Back in Fast 5, Dom and company took down drug kingpin Hernan Reyes. 12 years have passed, and his revenge-minded son Dante, who witnessed his father's ignominious end, has spent an entire period devising an elaborate and probably fatal revenge plot.
Let's race!
Surviving and fighting back will take the huge and ever-expanding crew around the world, from Rome to Los Angeles to Portugal to Antarctica. As this movie is supposed to start to wrap up the series, plenty of long-unseen characters, heroic and villainous, are likely to return to take sides in the developing war. Not every character will make it out of Fast X alive. There is a war brewing, it is coming to an end, and it is a race to finish, director Louis Leterrier told Empire. There will be some tremendous casualties, according to Leterrier, who added that the movie promises to be so exciting that it is suggested in the title. He pronounces Fast X as Fast 10, like fasten your seatbelts.
Who is starring in Fast X? Family is extremely and repeatedly important to the Fast and Furious franchise, so expect plenty of familiar faces to return to the series when it arrives in theaters in May of 2023.
It's family. You got family.
Among the returning cast members are Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto, Jordana Brewster as Mia Toretto, Tyrese Gibson as Roman, Michelle Rodriguez as Letty Ortiz, Sung Kang as Han, Charlize Theron as Cypher, Helen Mirren as Queenie, John Cena as Jacob, Natalie Emanuel as Ramsey, Chris Ludacris Bridges as Tej, Michael Rooker as Buddy, and Jason Statham as villain-turned-hero Deckard Shaw. New additions to that already ridiculously packed cast include Reacher star Alan Ritchson, Oscar winners Brie Larson and Rita Moreno, Portuguese film star Daniela Melchior from The Ratcatcher 2 in 2021's The Suicide Squad, and beloved action hero and Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa as Dante Reyes.
Who is directing Fast X? The 10th official entry in the Fast and Furious saga will bear the creative thumbprint of a director new to the franchise. Justin Lin, who helmed 2009's Fast and Furious, 2011's Fast 5, 2013's Fast and Furious 6, and 2021's F9, The Fast Saga, left the directorial duties this time to Louis Leterrier. Experienced in the eye-popping action movie milieu, Leterrier directed Fast X co-star Jason Statham in The Transporter and its sequel, as well as the 2008 MCU entry, The Incredible Hulk, the 2010 remake of Clash of the Titans, and the 10 episodes of Netflix, The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. Lin did not entirely leave the Fast and Furious family, however. He collaborated on the Fast X screenplay with Daniel Casey, a repairing of the team who wrote the script for F9, The Fast Saga. The film's story came from the mind of the writer Alfredo Botello, and he similarly contributed the plot outline for Fast X.
Is there a trailer for Fast X? Universal unveiled a trailer for Fast X during Super Bowl 57. After some street racing scenes, a throwback to the franchise's early days, audiences learn what Fast X is really about. Jason Momoa plays Dante, a bad guy driven by a deep, dark, and abiding desire to undo Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel. All those themes are explored in the second trailer for Fast X, released on April 19th, 2023. It doesn't waste any time, with Dominic screaming "punch it" into a walkie-talkie to communicate with his family members, some speeding rare sports cars through Rome, and Tej, that's Ludacris, and Ramsey, Natalie Emanuel, failing to navigate a massive cargo truck through the city's narrow, ancient streets. And it would seem that the giant, ominous sphere on board is a bomb planted there by Dante, who remotely explodes the thing. It rolls away and does a lot of damage to Rome's priceless treasures, while on the way toward its intended purpose to blow up the Vatican. From there, the trailer calms down slightly and temporarily, enough for Dante to explain that his motivation is to exact revenge on Dom, and he basically admits he's going to kill his target's chosen family of associates. But there are plenty more cars, showdowns, vehicular crashes, property damage, vicious fights, and scenes of getting the old gang back together and everybody choosing the perfect car and weapons to fight back against Dante's reign of terror.
Will Fast X have a post-credits scene? Some Fast and Furious installments are just so action-packed that the movie's proper just cannot hold everything. And so, fans have grown accustomed to sitting tight in their Cineplex seats, awaiting a mid-credits or post-credits scene to offer clues about the next entry in the Fast and Furious universe, or the shocking reveal that a presumed dead franchise character is still alive. For example, in the mid-credits of F9, Deckard, played by Jason Statham, encounters thought-dead Han, played by Sung Kang, and in Fast 5, Hubs, played by Dwayne Johnson, finds out that Letty, played by Michelle Rodriguez, is still somehow living. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Fast X is likely to keep the credits scene tradition going. On March 10, just over 2 months until the film hits the theaters, Vin Diesel filmed a short scene characterized as a tag or button, words that mean post-credits scenes. He may have filmed with a co-star whose identity wasn't confirmed or divulged. It is possible that Diesel's scene partner is an actor portraying a franchise character who supposedly but didn't really die in a previous movie. That could very well be Gal Gadot, whose character Giselle Yashar hasn't been seen since Fast and Furious.
Where to watch previous Fast and Furious movies. The Fast and Furious movies are among the most prolific and enduring movie franchises in Hollywood. The first film arrived in 2001, and including spin-off installments like 2006's The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift and 2019's unabashedly comical Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, there will be 11 movies in the series, counting 2023's Fast X. Audiences looking to properly prepare for the latest film by doing their due diligence and research, or just old fans seeking to reacquaint themselves with the increasingly elaborate and complex Fast and Furious world, can do so with streaming services. However, as of February 2023, not all 10 prior installments are conveniently available in one digital location. The Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious, and Fast 5 are streamable on demand to anyone with True TV in their cable package. Tokyo Drift and F9, the Fast Saga, can be found on HBO Max. Fast and Furious 6 and Furious 7 appear on Peacock's premiere tier. The Fate of the Furious and the Fast of Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw are accessible to DirecTV and Fubo TV subscribers.
Will there be a sequel? After 10 mainline The Fast Saga films, the franchise is coming to a close. But as the trailers for Fast X suggest, the latest outing is only the beginning of the end. That's right, Fast X may mark the end of Fast and Furious as we know it, but it is only the first part of the story. After previous reports that Fast X would conclude the series, Variety announced that the Fast Saga would end with a two-part finale, one that will reclaim the franchise's street racing roots. Though we don't yet know the title or the release date for the final installment, which will mark Vin Diesel's 10th portrayal of Dom Toretto after skipping out on Too Fast, Too Furious, we do know that the Fast and Furious team is working hard to develop a rewarding conclusion. When speaking with Variety, Diesel further explained the decision to end the franchise with the 11th feature by comparing the series to J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. There's a reason Tolkien stopped writing after a while, the actor noted, because it is so hard to continue mythologies. Whether you think that The Fast and the Furious is anything like The Lord of the Rings or not, Diesel's point is clear. The longer this franchise, which went to outer space in F9, goes on, it is harder to keep it grounded and interesting. Here's hoping F11 finishes in first.
Where was Fast X filmed? Like many of the later Fast and Furious pictures, the cast and crew of Fast X found themselves traveling all over the world. While the Toretto clan is based out of Los Angeles, Dom's home is a real house located in Echo Park. They seem to find themselves breaking international laws on a consistent basis. Fast X is no different. This time, the street racing spy thieves find themselves filming in the United Kingdom, Italy, and Portugal. Specifically, the Fast X team made their way to Rome, where actor Jason Momoa was seen filming scenes for the movie. Aside from their international escapades, the Fast X team returned to Angelino Heights to film the majority of the LA scenes, with plenty of car chases and intense stunts making waves across their usual stomping grounds. As Variety reported, locals weren't too enthusiastic about the film's return, with some even organizing protests against its production. Ever since the first film was released in 2001, popular Fast and Furious filming locations, namely Bob's Market from the first film, have been desired points of interest for fans and reckless drivers alike, leading to dangerous incidents on local roads. Of course, not everyone was upset about the movie being filmed in their neighborhood. Homeowner Plenaria Price made it clear that she did not want filming to end, stating that it's one of the most important economic things we have in Los Angeles.